I'm Robin Black, and this is the series that dispels the myths and misinformation about martial arts and reveals the truth that the mainstream fight machine doesn't want you to know and doesn't think you can handle. This is Fight Secrets. Let's start with Juan Archuleta, a complex and complete martial artist and so good at interpreting the chaos. Think. Right hand, the knuckles, the fastball pitch, right to the jaw. He read this perfectly. On the step, he will read it's either a straight left hand or the left foot swinging up. Now, cage positioning, proprioception, awareness says it must be the foot. The hands will protect and the shin will come up to protect the body. This clash creates a race. Opponent must drag that foot all the way back to answer with the left hand, but Juan can gingerly place the pad of his foot down and drop his center of gravity. Yeah, the knuckle bounces off, but he's down and he's loaded, measuring with his knuckles to the sternum, and he's underneath the answer, the right hook, and he fires off that fastball right hand, bink, right to the center of the target, drops his opponent. So much going on here. He had to read his awareness, his position in space. Yes, opponent is stepping. He must be aware of that vertical playing surface, that cage wall behind him, and the first part of his body to touch is that heel. Now he knows where it is. He can sink gently in, eyes locked on the target, prepared with square hips to interpret, read, and answer, to stay out front of the flow. Stay out front of the flow, something he does extraordinarily well. Boop. Perfect from Juan Archuleta. That is an elegant knockout, and he's aware of it. You talk about staying out front of the flow. In the milliseconds after this is done, not only the hands are up, but his brain has already decided it is over. Again, in the milliseconds, the fight no longer exists. Let's take out that mouthpiece. Juan Archuleta, ever present within the moments of the fight. Man, I am stoked for Archuleta versus Patrick Mix for the Bellator Bantamweight title. Patrick Mix. Love watching this kid fight. He starts his fights with such an incredible intensity of focus, shoots himself out of a cannon, takes away all the space, locks up the opponent's body, and then creates bizarre biological configurations where he can hyperextend opponent's limbs or cut off the blood flow to the brain. This is called the Suluev stretch after Amar Suluev. It starts his opponent's in 4 points. He's got the body triangle on the back. His elbow will attack the base of his opponent, the front of the base. When his opponent then will shift back, he can switch off and attack the rear, attack the leg. Now he'll lock up that shin to his sternum, and then he begins to extend himself, stretch his own vertebrae, so he creates the roll. And from here, he attacks the biology. He attacks the muscular system of his opponent. Let's take a look at it from another angle. He's got the leg, he's got the ankle. Now look at the bone of his own shin. It's locked in behind the thigh. He's got that body triangle, but this is in behind, and he's created his own figure four. My friends, look at this nonsense. This is not a yoga pose, it's the opposite. Mix is creating the shape of pain. Yoga is a healing methodology. This is a mechanism of tissue annihilation, a partial destruction of the skeletal and muscular systems of the human body. It is beautiful in its vulgarity. This is a spladle from the back, part banana split, part cradle, all bad. The Suluev stretch. Patrick Mix is capable of creating some of the most horrific submissions that you have ever seen. And man, Patrick Mix versus Juan Archuleta. This one, man, it is gonna be nuts. More Patrick Mix. In fact, this is Patrick Mix's first minute of his Bellator career, and I would say it went pretty well. Beautiful submission. We look at submissions and we will marvel at their beauty. And yes, this one is elegant. The arm under the chin, the right leg across in the body triangle to just pressure that midsection as he twists and tears his man to the ground. And yes, this is what elicits the tap. But it's everything before this that's so beautiful. Non-threatening posture, and then in the microseconds immediately switches, vaporizes that space, and then gets a hold of the body lock. The step will lower his center of gravity body so he can lift like a deadlift or a squat, turning his man, holding on to that body lock, hand on wrist, and step all the way through. His man's feet are off the ground. He will shuck up underneath using that right lever and then go all the way to the back. Now keep an eye on the right foot, already lacing the leg as he slides up onto the back like a backpack of death. And here, the footwork. He'll press down to create leverage, to swing the other leg all the way across, and then throw that leg over and lock up his own foot, pressuring the midsection, pressuring those organs. And now it's about getting the neck. Because if you look at it here, this left hand is going to sneak underneath. First a punch, then underneath to come over top and get that motorcycle grip. There's a lot going on already. Here, the motorcycle grip. And here, the one arm he has to get around with his right to be able to cut off the blood flow to the brain and stop that oxygenated hemoglobin. The body lock, then the left hand will come up, the right hand pressing down, and that's the doorway he needs to slice and slide the bladed hand in behind. And then this is a perfect rear naked choke. His right hand will be tucked all the way in behind. Look at the blue glove, tucking it all the way behind, cuts off the blood flow, and wins his first Bellator fight. And look at this kid celebrate. He goes from this minute all the way through, and now he is fighting for the title. That is a fascinating finish by Patrick Mix. It shows you the intentional mindset that he has where he pushes his agenda to get what he wants. Now let's contrast that finish with this finish by Juan Archuleta. Very, very different. Juan uses his opponent's learning against him. Juan Archuleta, this is an epic bink. This is one of my favorite knockouts that I've ever analyzed for a lot of reasons. Just the punch itself is so perfect. Yes, it is a thing of beauty, but it's not just the punch that separates the man from the consciousness. It is the incredible way that Juan sets it up, manipulating time and space to create the moment he looks for. Plants his pike in the earth, his back foot is down, and then the hand reaches and touches, and that touch creates the knockout. Robin Black, how does a touch create a knockout? Well, we travel back in time earlier in this fight. When Juan would throw punches, they would precede attempts at a takedown. He's teaching his opponent's brain to identify punches as not just a threat with the knuckles, but a threat to grab the body, take him down, and hurt him. Here, camouflaging the step in to get to the thigh, to get that single leg. What he's doing is he's teaching his opponent's brain to read a punch as an algorithm that leads to a takedown. He gets him addicted to the algorithm. The brain becomes addicted to the algorithm. It thinks it understands what will come next. It starts to predict the future, and Juan takes advantage of your prediction. You start to make assumptions, and assumptions always hurt you. This is a perfectly created moment in time. Again, it's not just the touch, it is the step. This step looks like the entry step to a takedown. And just a freeze, look at the hips, just momentary enough to move the hips back. The brain is reading a takedown, but the brain is now separated from its consciousness. Juan Archuleta created an elegant art piece, an elegant moment, and a perfect knockout. Oh, man, that was special. Random tangent. To find the deeper layers and the more beautiful meaning in any art, you must reject your knee-jerk reaction. Reject the first thing that comes to your mind. For example, striker versus grappler in a stylistic matchup. If the grappler can get it to the ground or the striker can keep it standing, these are nonsensical television narratives that trap you in a particular line of thinking. Another example, if you have written below something about Tiger King, well, go back and write, I've been binked, for 3 reasons. 1, that's lazy. 2, I've been wearing animal print since the 80s. And 3, this is a world title fight, the Bellator Bantamweight World Title. Whenever there's a world title here on Fight Secrets, I'm gonna get dressed up, so you get ready for it. It's my show. Are you primed for Juan Archuleta versus Patrick Mix for the Bellator Bantamweight World Title, Bellator 246, September 12th? Fam, this series means so much to me and to the whole team at Bellator. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. Yes, it does make a difference. And leave a comment. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't. Leave any requests that you wanted. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe and hit the notifications so you'll be told the next time Fight Secrets drops. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, enjoy the hostilities, my friend.